With the elections coming up, we face an important decision, choosing leaders who will shape our future. Leadership isn't just about promises. It requires action, vision, and true commitment. But how can we genuinely get to know the people who seek to lead us? Buenas. I'm May Maraviles, and this is the Local Candidates Interview, your front row seat to knowing the leaders who aim to shape our city's future. This special series is brought to you by Ateneo de Zamboanga University in partnership with the Commission on Elections and the United Front for Honest, Orderly, and Peaceful Elections. We're here to keep you informed so you can make the best choice this coming election. Joining us today is Pedro Melchor Natividad, who is running for Zamboanga City Mayor. Sir Pete, good morning.
Much better morning, May.
How are you, sir?
Well, I'm much better.
Much better now. Yeah. Okay. Sir Pete, you've spent over 30 years in government service.
36 years and 4 months to be exact.
To be exact. Yeah. Okay. Even serving as Schools Division Superintendent. Am I right?
For two divisions, Zamboanga del Norte and Zamboanga City.
All right. So now you're stepping into politics for the first time. Why go straight for mayor, Sir Pete?
Yeah. My point of view is it's public service. It's not about politics. To me, opportunity to be elected, if given the chance, is opportunity to do public service. Mm-hmm. So why for mayor? Because I believe I have the potentials, I have the qualifications, because I led 2 division offices already, a national government agency. Mm-hmm. I was Schools Division Superintendent. I performed Chief Executive Officer's function. Mm-hmm. So while the city mayor performs also the local chief executive functions. Mm-hmm. I think I have much better experience because that is national in scope, while this is local.
All right. Okay. How do you define leadership, sir?
Well, leadership is, to me, first and foremost, is modeling behavior. Right. We should have moral ascendancy. Mm-hmm. As smart. If we talk about honesty, we are supposed to be the first who is honest. Mm-hmm. We want to seek justice. We are practicing justice within ourselves first.
Okay. And what do you believe is the most important role of a city mayor?
Yeah, skills in leadership and management with moral ascendancy. Mm-hmm. That is not just preaching without doing, or talking without walking the talk.
Mm-hmm. In your first 100 days in office, what programs or actions would you prioritize and why?
Well, although the issue really is very big, very wide, to consider. But I have one very important thing to do. It's about human capital development. Mm-hmm. As a leader and manager, I consider this as an important resource, as an important capital in every organization, because commonly we know about human resource, financial resource, and physical resources. But to me, I include information resources. If we have enough information, time-relevant information, it will contribute me to make a very good decisions, that is database, evidence-based, fact-based, and so on. So that will help me make good decisions. But with the absence of human resource, good quality human resource, all these 3 other sources are useless. All these are in vain. But if we have very good human resource, all these 3 can be, if they are resourceful, they have initiative, all these can be sourced out. Right? So, but it's better because what I see in local governments, they have the financial resource, they have the human resource, the financial resource, physical resource, including information resources. But I want to deal on the human aspect in thoughts, in words, and in deeds. Can I just put it in 4H?
Oh, sure.
I want to develop the heart, the head, and the hands, the skills. But without excellent health, then definitely all of us will be useless. I look forward to really leveling up. Education, health, solution. Education will increase productivity. Productivity will improve our economy.
Okay. And how do you envision Zamboanga in the next 3 years if you win as mayor?
In simple terms, my vision is, I'd say it in my Chabacano because that is a mantra, no? Para mas bueno y mas alegre ciudad de Zamboanga. For a much better and much happier Zamboanga City. It is a general term, but with the 7-point platform of government that I have, once it will be put in place, it will be adopted and sustained, then I think in 3 years, we have a much better Zamboanga, a much happier Zamboanga City.
Right. Now let's get into the heart of the discussion, your plans and solutions for some of the biggest challenges facing Zamboanga City today. The topics we're covering aren't random. They come from insights gathered during a multi-sectoral, multi-stakeholder focus group discussion led by Ateneo in partnership with various community sectors. These issues reflect the real concerns of Zamboangueños. So we're looking forward to hearing concrete and actionable solutions from you. So to keep things fair and interactive, we've got a fishbowl here, which has 10 key issues. One by one, you'll draw a topic, and for each, we'd love to hear your plans and strategies. You'll have a total of 20 minutes to go through each of the issues, and it's up to you how you manage your time as long as each topic gets covered.
Yeah.
So ready?
Yes.
All right. So, Sir Pete, your first issue is on Ayuda and social welfare services. Many eligible families, especially indigenous peoples, are excluded from the 4Ps program despite profiling. Similarly, numerous senior citizens are denied government assistance due to limited slots, leaving many vulnerable beneficiaries in Zamboanga City without financial support. The question is, if you win as mayor, how would you ensure the equitable distribution of these programs to all eligible beneficiaries, and what specific measures within your capacity would you implement to prevent the misuse or misappropriation of these resources?
Thank you for the question. It is number 5 of my 7-point platform, social services. Provide an equal and equitable chance for all to reduce the gap between poverty and wealth. So, meaning to say, equal is for the poor who belongs to that category will have the same. But for different level, no, say there's already employed and so on, so there should be equitable. Give more to those who have less and give less to those who have more. So that is it. Then we will adopt a system. As I have been telling in my dialogue with them, we will adopt a system to address this concern of inequitability about those who are not included. So we have to look into that. No? So as I said, as an informed-based orientation, we always look at the data and look at the problems, and then we'll solve the root cause of the problem so that we'll be able to solve it. But in my time, this will not be experienced, what they've been experiencing now.
All right. Please pick the second question. So the next area is on floodings.
Yeah.
Zamboanga City has repeatedly endured severe weather over the past 5 years, resulting in floods, landslides, deaths, and hundreds of millions of damages, affecting nearly 70,000 people and displacing thousands. Many say that the city's flood control and disaster preparedness remain insufficient. If you are to be elected as mayor, how will you use your position to improve disaster preparedness and ensure a more effective response to these recurring calamities?
Yeah. It is number 2 of my platform of government. Stable and sustainable safety. So the question leads to the safety, not just security, peace, and order. This is supposed to be 4 components. But I will look into the safety. First, on the preparedness, and then the response, and then of course, the prevention. So while I put the system in preparedness, the system in what is this? The next is response. After all these are in place, we look on the prevention is better than cure. So we have to address the root cause of the flood, oversupply of water. Where does this go? With the high tide of the sea level, right? So I already identified that during my time as a superintendent. Tugbungan, Santa Catalina, Gusu, and now it's all elsewhere. Why? Where's the reader? Where are our waterways? Where are our canals? Where are our drainage system? We look into that. What is the lowest point of our city where the water is? I went looking at the water detention tank, just like what Bonifacio Global City has. I will look into that if there's feasibility to do that. So that this water, excess water in the city will go to that, not to the houses and the areas of poor people.
And not directly also to
Yeah.
the rivers.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And the seas. Next question, please, sir. The next issue is on teenage pregnancy and child abuse. Zamboanga City faces a severe problem of sexual violence against minors, with nearly 100 cases reported in just 8 months last year, 85% of which were incest, according to Zamboanga City Police Office. This coincides with rising adolescent pregnancies, often linked to abuse and limited access to education and healthcare, as noted by the CPD Region 9. The question is, what immediate steps should we take to put a stop to this long-standing problem affecting the lives and futures of our young women?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Actually, when I was Schools Division Superintendent of Zamboanga City and Zamboanga del Norte, I have good coordination program with PAPCOM. No? So we were addressing it, but only the schools that were benefiting the program were just selected by PAPCOM. Me as mayor, we will do a very extensive campaign, not only on the high school, but even in the grade 5, grade 6 in the elementary, because we already have heard cases about 11, 12 years old children
Getting pregnant.
getting pregnant.
All right, next.
So, edukasyon, el solusyon.
All right. Thank you, Sir Pete. The next issue is on traffic. Very timely. A 2023 study revealed worsening traffic in Zamboanga City, with commuters experiencing 30-minute delays per trip and losing 2 hours daily. The study also highlighted widespread dissatisfaction with the city's limited, unreliable, and uncomfortable public transport system. What would be the best way to address our traffic problem in the city, and what would be your strategy for addressing this?
Yeah. As a strategic leader and manager, I will look into the facts, I will look into the data, but initially what I know is the cause of traffic is we have limited roads with over number or volume of transportation. So which is easier to do? Construct more roads or to regulate the number of or the volume of transportation we have. For example, if our road networks can only provide with 1,000 vehicles and we have 5,000 vehicles around, perhaps I will ask why. Why do we have so much tricycles, the regular plus the colorum? Why do we have e-bikes without proper regulations and so on and so forth? Root cause, and address the root cause, and all the rest will be addressed.
All right.
So the root cause is oversupply of transportation. Transport system, unruly drivers, no care about wherever they unloading, no loading and unloading zone, no bus stop, no jeepney stop, no tricycle stop. Now we have to include no e-bike or e-trike stop, no habal trike, terminals everywhere. So I think we have to address this with what is this? With sincerity, strictly. That is under my number 6 point, law and order. If there's no law, there's no order. We have chaos, we have anarchy.
Next question, Sir Pete. Thank you for that. The issue is on food security.
Wow.
A 2024 World Food Program report identifies 7 major livelihood zones in the Zamboanga Peninsula, including aquaculture, rice farming, and crop production. Climate change-driven temperatures threaten these sectors and future food yields. What measures should be taken and prioritized in Zamboanga City to mitigate the impacts of climate change on the city's food security?
Thank you, May, for that question. That's number 4 of my 7-point platform. Implement agriculture and aquaculture development system management. I'm happy to see the aquaculture there because this will address the needs of our fisher folks, the ones who are staying in the coastline and in the islands. Because in agriculture, when I say rice farming, it's not just rice farming, crop production, even livestock. No, I see that within 3 years, I'll be able to address all these idle lands, all these only bushes grasses are growing. So I have to look into this, and if I can go with partnership, public-private partnership with landowners. I will borrow some lots so that we will provide for the agricultura, not just barangay, every purok. But except for the city proper, we do not have. But in the city proper, I will try to introduce the container gardening. Container gardening. So that is one of my priority. When I say development system management, meaning to say, I will really address more fish pond, more rice field. Stop converting our rice field to. We have to produce the number of tons of rice that we need. The vegetables we will not anymore buy from other municipalities. I want to see Zamboanga City as the food basket of Region 9. If not only of Region 9, including Mindanao.
That's great.
Where we have more available food, because if we're more available, if we see agricultura sa barangay everywhere, vegetables will be very cheap. Very cheap. And then if ever we bring out vegetable, it's for selling, it's for productivity.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next question, sir. We're halfway through. The issue is on peace and order, specifically shooting incidents.
Yes.
A series of shootings in Zamboanga City has led the mayor to deploy the AFP to support the police in maintaining order and addressing rising crime. This comes at that time when the election gun ban is in full force but is violated. What do you think is the solution to this problem, and how do we ensure a stronger peace and order for the city of Zamboanga?
Thank you again for that question. I was smiling because this is part of my program. When I talk about safety, I talk about emergencies, disasters. When I talk about security, we're talking about intentional threats from syndicated, organized, and treasons. When you talk of peace and order, I think this is a misused term. Because when we talk about peace, it is not just the absence of war. It includes the absence of poverty. Diba? So, I say, and including absence of instruments of war. I do not want to see military roaming around with their long firearms, cyanide going around. That is not a manifestation of peace. Peace is only absence of war and poverty. So I want to address the security issues, threats. So improve intelligence gathering, relevant, and try to see the ones implementing all this. If it is, I hate to say this, but we have to cleanse the ranks. We do not know, but some of them are within us. Before even you can conduct the raid, the criminals are already informed about it. So I'm sorry to say this. I just want to be straightforward. Servidor verdad. I do not want to be lying here. So we'll increase intelligence network and quality information gathering. If we already identified all these people, the shooting around. I want to extend my answer here. In Arizona, in California, they're allowed to carry guns, even in a holster, even in the car. But there is no shooting incident. But here we have checkpoints everywhere. But there is still shooting incident. I don't understand why. And that is what I need to understand with database. So, and as to who are committing these crimes, are they Zamboangueños or are they coming in from other places? So we have to cordon our checkpoints really and then increase. In my point, I already have my what is this steps to do, but I do not want to say this here, or else I might be killed before the election by these syndicated and organized crimes.
Thank you,
criminals,
Sir
I said.
Thank you, Sir Pete. Next question, please. The next issue is on solid waste management. Okay.
Come again?
Solid waste management.
Yeah.
So the Philippines faces unsustainable plastic use and poor waste management, generating millions of tons of plastic waste annually, with 20% ending up in the ocean and contributing significantly to global marine pollution. By 2025, Zamboanga City alone is estimated to generate close to 280,000 tons of solid waste. If you win as our next mayor, what specific strategies will you implement to improve solid waste management for the city?
Thank you again for that very good question. Well, I'm looking at my number 6 again, law and order. When you talk of law and order, we want to see a culture of peace and obedience. As simple as waste management, no? Segregation of waste. I think there is an ordinance already, even national laws. But the frontliners in the barangay are not strictly implementing it. I was saying, when you talk of law and order, it is not just about the city government. It's about the 98 barangays strictly implementing that. So I will fully support, provide the necessary support to barangays to enforce all the laws possible, not just for solid waste management. So meaning to say, if all these 98 barangays are strictly promoting the culture of peace and obedience or the law and order, that there is no one above the law, that the rule of law shall really prevail. So I think the whole city will be really performing at its best. So I don't want that when the time comes, whenever there's problem on on our waste, there's already putting the blame to the city government. We will address it. Even traffic problem will be addressed. Even criminal crimes problem will be addressed by the city, by the barangays, at the barangays level. Because my definition of good governance is not just the city.
Yes.
All the things that I've been doing or I will be doing in the city government will be replicated in all the 98 barangays. I just want to relate my experience with the DepEd. When I say Mas Alegre na DepEd, Mas Alegre na opisina, I wanted to see that in the smartest school of the city, the same, if the principals can replicate the way I treat people, the way I treat people in the division office, I want to see them happening also in the school level. So what I'm saying, if there is problem or there are problems in the school level, it will not reach my office anymore. But in order to address this, I will provide full support, empowerment to the barangay with minimal supervision. You say, I will remind them, we will sit down. Upon my assumption, I will sit down and review the job description, the performances of the barangay, kapitan, the kagawats. Don't be afraid, barangay kapitan. I will be there to support you. I will not use you as my tuta. I will not use use you as my liners in the election. Because you are chosen by your people, you have to serve. You really have to serve. And I will be there to serve, to help you.
All right. Thank you, Sir Pete. We're down to our last three issues. This one is very close to your heart. Education.
Okay.
So the Philippines ranks 77th out of 132 countries in the 2022 Global Knowledge Index, scoring 44.1 only out of 100, below the world average. The score indicates moderate performance in education, innovation, and research and development. The question is, if you win, what specific initiatives will you implement or legislate to strengthen and support both the formal education sector and vocational training programs in our city? And a follow-up question would be, how will you leverage your position to secure funding, resources, and partnerships to achieve these goals?
Yeah, thank you for that good question. I'm smiling again because really it's relative to me. It's one of my it's actually my number one. This falls under human capital development. My mantra is educación el solución. So I'm starting from the daycare centers, no? From the daycare, zero yan, number zero yan sa aking platform, no? Zero. We say, we improve the quality of our teachers in the daycare center. Because there's a saying that you cannot unlearn what was learned. I do not want to experience that the kindergarten teachers will complain that the students or the pupils that goes to their kindergarten are not kindergarten ready. So I will provide support, partnership, DSWD, the Office of the Social Work, and DepEd on how to capacity build. We'll increase the capacity or the qualification of the daycare facilitator, whatever you call it, and perhaps give an attractive salary so that we can get the best to start the basic education of our learners. And then I will give full support from the K to 12, no? Grade to 12. Whatever the DepEd can provide, it's okay. So I will determine from there, and whatever augmentation is needed, the local government should provide. I see the local government prime responsibility about our human capital. So means I will not allow DepEd to just limit to DepEd as far as the problem of our quality of education is concerned. So no more contribution for teachers because I will provide financial assistance to all the schools. So no more contribution from the PTA because that is one thing that prevents our pupils, poor pupils, from going to school. They're ashamed every time the teacher reminds them about their PTA contribution. So since they did not have anything to do, that was one thing that I discovered during my time. No, absences, the risk of dropping out is that they cannot comply with the contribution. Once the teacher will remind, so the pupils feels embarrassed. The other classmates will bully them. So that's one thing. So no more about financial aspects. The local government, I feel, should be responsible in augmenting that. And also the police power. I remember I saw last time that there is an interview that they have funds for operational. I will see to it that the government will provide for that. Although we have limited resources perhaps, but the principle of put your money where your mouth is. Wherever the need is, then we will really fully support. And not only that, that is for basic education. In the platform, if you will later visit my page, I provide there for free technical vocational training education. Not just the TESDA, including the drivers, the kasambahay, everybody who needs education through TESDA, I will provide that. I will level up the Colegio de la Ciudad de Zamboanga, no, to offer a TVE or technical vocational education leading to a 4-year course. We will adopt a ladderized program, and that will be free, no entrance examination, and campuses will be created. No, because at the moment we only have Vitali campus and Ayala campus. So there are 12 districts in Zamboanga City. So as much as possible, I want to really offer this Colegio de la Ciudad Zamboanga campuses to all our people. For those especially who did not pass, who cannot pass the admission exam in the state universities and colleges. And, if you are from Vitali, how can you go, whatever, from Quruan, how can you go to Vitali or to other parts of the city? But if there is a school, in a particular district, no, they can pursue their college education. And then with full support of the barangays, we provide them with transportation. They should ferry the students with no means of transportation to the school and make sure. And that will form part of my criteria in giving ayuda, sending their children to school, up to college. No? And after that, I'll also provide scholarship program for those who really cannot really understand. So in my case, really I will invest much on education of the children because, as I said, with education, higher education, they can become more productive, they can have better employment and better opportunity for entrepreneurship. Once I have these 3 E's, I have this last E, empowerment. They will be able to earn by themselves even when they are left alone. Even Sir Pete is no longer the mayor. Once the program is there, then it will continue. Then it will address the issue of poverty, the issue of predatory governance.
All right. Thank you, Sir Pete. Next question. We're down to the second to the last question. Corruption. Okay. The Philippines ranked 114th out of 180 countries in Transparency International's 2024 Corruption Perception Index, reflecting perceived public sector corruption like bribery and nepotism. The CPI also considers the effectiveness of anti-corruption mechanisms, including enforcement, prosecution, and whistleblower protection. The question is, if you win as our mayor, what specific strategies and measures will you implement or legislate to combat corruption and promote transparency and accountability within the city government?
Yeah. My seventh point is much better governance. Much better governance, I have 5 indicators. One is participatory democracy, where people are consulted. No? People are consulted in making decisions, not just in the city government, but in the barangay level. If I have interfaith council in the barangay, each barangay should have one. If we have women's sector representative in the city government, they should also have it in the barangay level. Is responsive, number 2. Good governance to me is responsive, client-friendly, and customer satisfaction. I want that we treat our people as our clients. If they are not happy, then we do not deserve to be in the position. I did it in the division of Zamboanga City and Zamboanga del Norte, where I promote in Zamboanga del Norte, I call it the kinasing-kasing the servisyo. And that is why I adopted this. To me, this is about sincerity. It's about serving with the heart. So in here, I adopted the Mas Alegre na Zamboanga, a Mas Alegre na Eskwela, so that people will come in. I don't want to see teachers frowning. I want them always to smile, so that I promote the wearing of the smiley pin, so that if they will not smile, their students will remind them, Ma'am, you're supposed to smile, and they will smile again. So that is it. And then, of course, to address the answer is number 3, a good governance advocates honesty and transparency. So this will address graft and corruption. It should be in place. That is not just by words. It should start with the heart. Kaya I will also adopt the one I did in Zamboanga del Norte and even in the regional office, the work attitudes and values enhancement program, where I touch the heart of the employees. You know, human per se is good. Is really good. No? In nature, because as I was asking, what is the innermost part of the heart? It's not we are talking about the what is this? The physiological aspect or anatomical aspect. It's about the goodness in one's heart. There is always that goodness. If I can just touch the goodness of the heart, and then you see, the second is about just and righteous. It's about rule of law. So let government be of laws, not of man. I adopted this. I borrowed this from the JC Creed because I was once a JC and I live up to the JC spirit. That's why I say service to humanity is the best work of life. And to me, service to humanity is a form of worship to God. So, and above all, number 5, promotes the culture of godliness and goodness in thoughts, in words, and in deeds.
Okay.
So, meaning to say, it's not just lip service. That's why I bring in and I will activate the council of, rather the interfaith or interreligious group council. We will have our religious leaders as my backbone. If I need to say this, I'll bring God or the Holy Spirit or Allah in the city hall and in all the barangay governments.
All right. Last issue, Sir Pete. We're down to our last minute. Power or electricity. Crown Investment Holdings assumed Zamselco's management in 2019, yet system losses, inefficiency, and outages continue, reportedly causing debt to balloon to 4 billion pesos. This raises concerns about who will ultimately bear the burden of the massive debt. If you are to be elected as the next mayor, how will you use your position to address the issue of electricity in the city? We have 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, energy is one, or electricity is one of the basic need of our people, right? So, as a local government official, first I have to listen and I have to scan as to the nature of the cooperative. But what I understand, cooperative exists and governed by their own board. So I have to sit with the board and perhaps ask them what is the status and everything, and perhaps together we'll find solution. But if there's a need for the local government to come in to help and support the cooperative, because indeed it is a cooperative of all Zamboangueño members.
Yes.
So I have to address those issues, no, squarely, but what without dipping my fingers too much, because they are supposed to be governed by their own board, by the people. And the assembly is supposed to be the governing body of, or policy and governing body of Zamselco. I am one of the members. If ever I exercise, I will also exercise my right as a member. I was there in the last assembly and I saw everything. Yeah.
All right. So we're now at the final part of our conversation. This is your chance, Sir Pete, to speak directly to the people of Zamboanga. So, sir, the final question is, why should you be the next mayor of Zamboanga City?
Yeah. ¿Busca ba ustedes alternativo? ¿Quiere pa ba ustedes esperanza? ¿Alegre ba ustedes con el status quo? Cosa tapasa? The reason why I ran and I offered myself to be the next mayor, because I feel I am bringing with me the solution. Problems have been there, have been piling up with different kinds with different leaders that we have. I am here to offer change, to offer transformation for a much better and a much happier Zamboanga City. Para mas bueno y mas alegre, ciudad sabad na balota. Número 3 na balota, el next mayor, el servidor verdad. Taliba progreso, esperanza, trabajo y edukasyon. PIT for short. Takial solución. Takial solución. El decisión na de ustedes conciencia. El de mi apelo, reza antes de votar. Because I believe God will guide you with the right conscience, the clear conscience, and the wisdom to make the decision. Whatever is the future of Zamboanga City does not lie in my hands, but lies on the decision that you will make on May 12. God bless everyone.
Thank you, Sir Pete, for sharing your plans with us. Best of luck, sir.
Thank you. I prepare to receive a greeting that God bless.
God bless.
Kasi pag luck, swerte-swerte yan. Pag God blessing, walang mapipigil yan.
God bless,
yeah,
Sir
thank you.
Pete.
God bless too.
To our viewers, this conversation is part of our commitment to keeping you informed before you cast your vote on May 12. You have the power to shape the future of our city. So choose wisely and vote responsibly. This has been the Ateneo de Zamboanga University Local Candidates Interview Series. Muchas gracias. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you at the Pulse on May 12.